Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are around the world. This is a analysis review of Liverpool's first games of the season as we come now into the second international break. Just thought it would be an opportunity to take time just to sort of reflect and review Arne Slot's initial performances, how the teams got on, comparison to Klopp's style, star performers, players that probably haven't done so well, and obviously what's to come up in the next couple of months. So we look at it, the results in the first 7 league games: 6 wins, 1 loss, 9 wins out of 10 for Arne Slot. It's the best performance for a Liverpool manager in the first 10 games since the first ever Liverpool manager. So that really says a lot, so far in terms of Slot and in terms of the continual evolution that he's bringing to Liverpool since Klopp's leaving. Even Bob Paisley only won 7 out of 10 of his first games. Now, obviously, different time, different era, and a lot of the top teams now generally win quite a bit of games in terms of ratio-wise. Has there been a kind start? I think we could say that. There's been a kind start. Only played one team in the bottom. Well, in fact, we'd say one team in the top half, and that's obviously Nottingham Forest, who actually done a lot better than we'd expect, and the only team to give us a bloody nose this season. But you have to play who you have. You have to play who's in front of you. And Slot has done that, and the team has done that. So I suppose when I look at it is tactical approach. So Jurgen Klopp would set up as a 4-3-3. That's what he used to with his dogs of war in midfield. Arne Slot's, from what I can see, it's been a 4-2-3-1 with a double pivot and a number 10 compared to the 4-3-3 of Klopp. Now, Klopp, very well known Liverpool teams, high pressing style, really energetic, really vibrant, just really goes for it hell for leather from minute 1 till hopefully the end. I feel with Slot we're seeing that difference. There's very careful words because I love Klopp and it's not critique. I think he even said heavy metal football. Slot is just calmer. The tactics is a lot calmer, more measured, more possession based. I think even defense solidity is a lot better that I would say on the Slot at the moment. Last season we conceded 41 goals. Obviously taking the season as a whole. So far in the league we conceded 2. Last season we were the 3rd best defensive team, with City on 34 and Arsenal strong defensive with Saliba. Saliba at the back with 29. The underlying statistics show Liverpool are defensively improving. Expected goals against was second best, or Liverpool second best, with 5.1. Villa's at 6.8 and Arsenal's at 7.2. That's a small sample size, I know, but I think the eye test shows it all. Then we look in terms of shots per 90. Liverpool are 3rd best in the league with 9.14. Tottenham was 8.71 and City 7.86. So we're not giving away a lot of shots, which obviously helped us to keep from avoiding goals against us. Liverpool are yet to concede from a set piece. Currently this season we've got Aaron Briggs is looking after the set pieces. Last season Liverpool conceded 10 goals from set pieces. So if we look at it starting from the back, what we're seeing is a lot more measured, a lot more defensive cohesion. We're seeing less shots on Liverpool's goals, which then equates to, hopefully, which we're seeing at the moment, is less goals conceded. Again, I will stress as a small sample size. The defensive work has not come to the detriment, though, of the attack. So, Liverpool so far has scored 13 goals in the league. Only Tottenham, Arsenal and City are better so far. And expected goals per 90 is 13.8. Now, if you look at that critically wise, you expect to see a bit more goals compared to the expected goals. So at the moment we're just below the expected goals per 90. But I think that's last season I think one of the complaints was that strikers were not finishing the chances. I think on the slot, what I see so far is opportunities are generally less. Shots on goal are less, but the opportunities to finish is a lot better. So i.e. you can have a shot from a corner box, no chance to score it, but which Liverpool seem to be getting to opportunity where hopefully when they have that shot, they're more likely to concede, or it'll be a great save or defensive block from the keeper, rather than just opportunities where it's just been missed and it should have been finished. But obviously there's work to do in terms of improving the shots per 90 and the expected goals. So that will come. I feel that will come with Liverpool as the players get used to what has been expected of them from Slot. Two shots up 400, shots for 106, which is so shots on target or shots at goal. 106, which is seventh in the Premier League so far. We've currently only one set piece goal and two against Milan. So won the league. So again, opportunity to improve on set piece goals. I think on the clock we were actually pretty good for goals with set pieces. But again, as a team, we're well known for creating the goals. So I have no issues with that. But if we can improve the actual set piece goals, that will help, especially in tight games. So now I look at player performances. Standout players of the first 9 games. Gravenberch. I'll get more into him later. Diaz has played pretty well so far this season. His finishing is a lot better. Again, a player who's been is criticised heavily for not finishing opportunities and being a bit 100 miles per hour. I feel he's been a lot more calmer and a bit more consistent, and he's scored some crucial goals. Jota. So Jota's been playing that striker role, and to be honest with you, he's done a pretty good job. He's done a really good job, I feel, engaging with the defenders, keeping them occupied, creating that space for people like Diaz or Gakpo or Salah. So well done. What is needed with Jota is to keep him fit, because he's notorious for getting injured in the season, and injuries which are not just simple injuries where he will be out for quite a bit. Then look at Gakpo. So although Gakpo's not had a lot of minutes, he's contributed. And actually I feel I've seen an evolution of Gakpo. One, strength-wise, even pace, skill, aggression. So that's going to be one to watch out for in terms of the Gakpo-Diaz starting conversation, because I think Diaz has dipped a little bit, which is natural. He's had a really good first 4 or 5 games, and then he's just dipped a little bit. But Gakpo's been coming on, and every time he's been coming on, he's shown that hunger, desire to make an impact, which is good. That's competition for places. That's what you want to see. Konate. So apart from the fact Konate didn't start the first game, Konate came on for Kwanzaa, and he's been ever present. And on the slot, I feel we're seeing Konate ball distribution's a lot better, a lot calmer. Apart from, I know there was the game where Slot had to ask him to calm down a bit, because Konate's a bit passionate player. You know, he's a bit different, like his entrance into his French national team second, international break with the, I don't know what you want to call it, the green thing over his head. It just wasn't a look. But but he's a character, and you need characters in your team. But Konate and Virgil van Dijk, who has been really, really communicative, really filling the void of Henderson, almost to the point we can maybe have a conversation, say that the aura is back. The aura is back. And McAllister. If I looked at the performers and thought, okay, is anyone really surprising me? I would have to say it's Gravenberch. We have to have a conversation about Gravenberch. What would have happened if we had signed Zubimendi? In a way, I'm quite happy we didn't. Because we are seeing a player flourish. This season, he seems to have bulked up. He's improved his stamina. He seems to be one of the fittest players in the team now. As far he's played every single minute so far for Liverpool in the league. Ever present in the league, ever present in the Champions League. He's been so consistent to the point we do have to wonder what would have done without him if we didn't have him this season. Because he has been that linchpin in midfield, that calming presence, which helps join up the defence and the attack. He's been given the responsibility of playing the ball from the back and controlling the tempo. He's a pace setter. He has gone from an average of 55.7 per 90, in terms of touches, to 78.4 per 90 touches. So you can see that increase. His involvement, his play, touching the ball, being involved. He's always looking for opportunities to progress play, which keeps him involved in the game. He has constant communication with his captain, Virgil van Dijk, and especially that was evident a lot in terms of the Crystal Palace game, where you could just see where Virgil was keeping communicating with him, let him know where he was on the pitch, and that helped Gravenberch during the game as he's evolving. He's always looking for opportunities to progress play, which keeps him involved in the game. He has constant communication, as I said, with Virgil. Gravenberch has 2.71 progressive carries per 90 and 7.14 progressive passes per 90. Now, if you compare this with Endo is 0.52 progressive carries, which shows he doesn't really move the ball as Gravenberch does, and 5.29 progressive passes. So last season, the midfield really wasn't as cohesive, and we weren't joining up the play, controlling the tempo, having a lot of basketball games going on to our detriment. What we're seeing Gravenberch this season is a maestro conducting the orchestra, having more touches, slowing the tempo down, graceful, turning a sixpence, great passes out, breaking the line, but we're in control. He is press resistant, shields the ball and spins on a sixpence, as said, and takes it into space, causing chaos in midfield. And I did a TikTok on it previously because I see him like an ice skater. He's on a grass, he's like an ice skater. He just, ice skater was a skier, just slalom. Graceful. Challenges ahead. And that's opportunities for him to show his abilities. Any player underperforming? Now again, please, if you have any comments, please comment. Anyone you feel has done well, anyone you feel is not performing, please put your comments on. I like to read them and see and engage with yourself. Underperformance, Endo. I think Endo has struggled on the Slot system. Understandable, he was brought in by Klopp, and I don't think the assignment is the same assignment that he's got now, and that's a challenge. And it's with the news that the club are looking for offers, it won't be long before Endo leaves the team. It's a pity because I think as a character, he's liked by the fans, he's liked by the players. But it's a business, and Slot wants a certain type of player, and that's why he went for Zubimendi. And we naturally now have been able to have Gravenberch instead given opportunity. But obviously, you want to strengthen that position, and Endo has struggled, and he won't be probably the team much longer. And the player Nunes. Now, yes, I'm a fan, but I'm also able to critique. And Nunes has struggled so far. He didn't look fit initially this start of the season. His movement, at times better and at times not better as a striker. And you can tell he's not playing in confidence. He's a confidence player. He's got the support of the fans at the stadium. So I think there's a lot of fans who are very critical of him as a player. And whether they feel it's fairly, I feel a little bit unfairly. But even myself now have to see improvements from him. And he needs to show this. He needs to be banging on that door, showing in training that he deserves to be starting, and currently he's not been the one. And with the talk about Liverpool looking at other strikers, the Frankfurt striker, there is a danger that Nunes may not be around long as well. That's the players I look at in terms of, currently are struggling. Squad rotation. How has Slot done with rotation? The only critique I will probably have is the Nottingham Forest. Against Nottingham Forest, I felt he could have made different choices, especially coming off the international break and fresher legs, etc., etc. And it didn't work out. But that's the only criticism I'll probably say. I think probably when we get to the end of this next one, he will really evaluate who we should be starting. And so we hopefully will see a difference. Now, in terms of injuries, we've generally avoided injuries. However, we've currently got Harvey Elliott, Alisson and Chiesa. Alisson, hamstrings we've known is notorious for Alisson, which is going to be a concern going forward in the future. With another goalkeeper lined up next season, we may have to have a conversation about Alisson, only just because of fitness. Not in terms of anything else, just about his fitness. Chiesa, notorious for injuries, so it's a bit disappointing that he's injured at the moment. And obviously Harvey Elliott, he shouldn't be long back. I think he would be just a bit too close with the international break. So we should hopefully see that. And that would very be helpful, because we need that strength and depth for the games to come up. Arne Slot's impact. Fans' reaction, I think, has been good. We're a very supportive fan base. There is a sense at games that the home fans are not as boisterous. I feel that's a debate about affordability of tickets in cost of living crisis, and tourist fans who don't provide that same lift and energy when things aren't working. Observation, could be wrong, but please let me know your points if you differ or agree. Slot's tactics are different from that hustle and bustle 100 miles per hour football that we used to Klopp, which at times left us more defensively exposed. Slot style is more measured and possession based, with a focus on bringing the opposition to you and then breaking their press through the passing, through the lines. There has been periods in games where we've controlled the match, but I felt sometimes we've just gnawed everyone down by not sort of keep moving at pace or move the ball quicker. We just sort of, at the defence, we've slowed it down, put a foot on the ball, pass it back to Alisson, pass it to Robbo, just causing ourselves unnecessary problems. But is that an adaptation to his tactics by the players? Or is that the tactics itself and the players are just adhering to it? But at times I feel we, instead of us going, I know Klopp would go for the juggler and keep going to try and get that win and score more goals. Slot sometimes feels like, no, we're just going to take the pace out and control the pace. And who could play at the moment delivering results? I feel that I know the players are looking at his system and are really concentrating it. But I think as the season continues, I think we'll see the evolution of Slot's tactics and how the players will adapt to it. So what we see now, I feel, as we get to middle of the season, there'll be evolution to that. We're going to need that. You're going to need a variety, because otherwise, soon enough, teams will suss out what you're doing and lull you into that sense of security and punish you. Is there a noticeable difference between Klopp's tenure and Slot in terms of team mentality or atmosphere? As I mentioned, in terms of the fans, Slot is not the same as Klopp. We can clearly see that. Klopp would call it as heavy metal football, as he says. I would see Slot as almost opera football, classical opera against heavy metal. Depends what you like. It feels like sometimes when we're not winning games by lots of goals, fans moan, they want to see more of that heavy metal Klopp football, which I like as well. And then for the football purists, maybe people looking at it and looking, okay, I see what he's doing, and they examine that opera style football. Like I said before, I feel there's a cohesion to come, an evolution, which we'll see migrate, and middle half of the season we'll see that improve. But we need it. We need to see that evolution, but Slot's evolution. And I can see that he's just, at times last season, we were not controlling the game. And like I said before, it's like a basketball match. This season, it's less of that, as more controlled. Not City, but getting more like City. And at times people sometimes in our WhatsApp groups and stuff would say, oh, we should be a bit more like City. And I feel now in that control aspect, well, maybe we are. Maybe we are. Good or bad, let's see. Let me know your points on that. Then we come to really the critical part of the season. The first 7 games were kind to us, we know. However, the challenges are coming. And the list of games October, November, I'm going to read out to you, are what they are. October, home game against Chelsea. Away game against Leipzig. We know what's happening there now. The Liverpool. Away game against Arsenal. 2 away games there in a row. That will be challenging. Carabao Cup away game against Brighton. So 3 challenging away games. Then we get to November and we got a home game against Leverkusen. Home game against Aston Villa. Away game against Southampton. And a home game against Real Madrid. So, good start to the season. We've seen the flourishing of Gravenberch. We've seen defensive solidity and the stats match that up. I didn't mention earlier, but Salah is probably a player that we need to see improve over the next 7 games. He's been inconsistent, but again, I said before, the strikers, got shots per 90, expected goals, we need to improve that. But right now, we're top of the league. So not going to complain. But we need to be ready for these games. These games could be critical. If we can get through these games without much damage, i.e. getting those wins in the league, even in maybe a draw deals or so, and getting the results in Champions League, then we will be in a position where we can say we've had a great start. So far, if you look at Simon, I think he's on a, will he stay in A? Will it be B or will it be a C? Let's see how the season goes. Please like, subscribe and comment and click on notifications. I really want to have that conversation with you in terms of how well we're doing, and I would like you to put your comments down so I can reply back to you in terms of my perception about how people are doing, Liverpool are doing, and the challenge we've got so far this season. Thank you.